The Fall of Jericho, Triumph of Faith. In the shadow of the ancient walls of Jericho, a city fortified and feared, the Israelites stood poised for a momentous event, a conquest guided by faith and divine intervention. The story of the Fall of Jericho is a tale of obedience, perseverance, and the miraculous power of God. The vast Israelite camp spread across the plains of Jericho, stretching as far as the eye could see. The campfires burned in the evening light, casting flickering shadows on the faces of the Israelites, a people who had endured years of wilderness wandering under the leadership of Moses. But now, their journey had brought them to the very doorstep of their promised land, and it was Joshua, their new leader, who stood before them. Joshua was a figure of strength and determination. He bore the mantle of leadership with the same courage that had defined his predecessor, Moses. The Israelite warriors, clad in armor and carrying their weapons, stood in disciplined formation, their eyes fixed on the formidable walls of Jericho that loomed ahead. Yet, a sense of unease filled the air. Jericho's walls were renowned for their impregnability. They stood as a symbol of defiance, a challenge to anyone who dared to lay siege to the city. The Israelites, despite their faith in God's promise, couldn't help but feel a sense of foreboding. Joshua, holding a weathered map of Jericho, gathered the Israelite leaders around him. He outlined a plan that was far from conventional. Instead of launching a frontal assault, he spoke of a divine strategy, a plan that would test their faith and obedience to God's commands. The center of attention was the Ark of the Covenant, a sacred and mysterious symbol of God's presence among His people. It was to lead the way, carried by the priests who were dressed in their holy vestments. As the ark advanced, 7 priests marched before it, each blowing a trumpet made of a ram's horn, producing a unique and solemn sound that echoed through the plains. Joshua instructed the people that they were to march around the city once a day for 6 days, following the ark, the priests, and the trumpets. And during this time, they were to maintain complete silence. It was a test of faith and obedience, to trust in God's plan and His timing. As the days passed, the Israelites adhered to Joshua's instructions with unwavering faith. They watched as the Ark of the Covenant, carried by the priests, led the procession around Jericho's formidable walls. The trumpet's haunting sound resonated through the city, a stark contrast to the silence of the Israelites. They marched in faith, their trust in God's promise growing stronger with each passing day. Then came the 7th day, a day of significance and culmination. On this day, the Israelites were instructed to circle the city 7 times. The priests blew their trumpets, and the Israelites followed in solemn procession. The anticipation in the air was palpable as the people awaited Joshua's command. And then it happened. At Joshua's command, the people let out a mighty shout. It was a shout of faith, a declaration that God's promise would be fulfilled. It was a shout that reverberated through the plains of Jericho, echoing off the city walls. And at that very moment, the walls of Jericho, which had seemed impenetrable, crumbled. They fell inward, like a great fortress brought to its knees. The Israelites witnessed a miracle. The walls of Jericho collapsed before their very eyes. With the way now open, the Israelite warriors stormed the city. They captured Jericho, sparing only Rahab and her family, who had helped them in their earlier reconnaissance mission. The city, once a symbol of power and defiance, was now under the control of God's chosen people. The fall of Jericho was not just a military victory. It was a testament to the power of faith and obedience. The Israelites followed Joshua's unconventional plan because they believed in the promises of God. Their faith had led to a miraculous victory, and Jericho's fall marked the beginning of their conquest of the Promised Land. The story of the Fall of Jericho serves as a powerful reminder of the rewards of faith, trust in God's guidance, and the importance of obedience to divine commands. It is a story of triumph against seemingly insurmountable odds, where faith brought down the walls that human strength could not. Jericho's walls, once thought impenetrable, had fallen by the hand of God, a testament to the power of faith and divine intervention in the face of daunting challenges.